radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Yeah. Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Thursday, May 4th. 126 days into the new year, 238 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. I'd like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your so humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Oh, I was just informed it's Thursday, May 5th. Close enough. Just off by a day. Yeah. Where was I? For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, KGRA, the Planet. I'm your so humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking tonight, everybody? How you doing? In a great mood. Always in a great mood when I sit in this chair and hang out with you, especially on a Thursday. How you doing? Tonight is FADERNIGHT. That's right. Open lines all night long. At the bottom of the hour, of course, it's Jon Rappoport, and he will be here with his No More Fake Newsroom. Great week on the show. Monday night, we had Ralph Ellis in here for part 3. Tuesday night, Freeman on an all-conspiracy evening. And last night, the real John Lear. And there you go. So that was our week on the show. Lots of big news this week. Lots of things to talk about tonight. Open lines all night long, 323-825-5045. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Simple enough. At JChurchRadio. You know what to do. And Facebook and YouTube and everything else is right there on our page. Go and do it. Follow, like, and subscribe. And, of course, you can email throughout the show. I'm going to move some stuff around here so I can now see my email, which is right there. Okay, email's open right in front of me, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Over to my left is Twitter, TweetDeck. You know the rules. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Come and hang out with us. It's great. Every single show we do 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 tweets. It's insane. And you know what I do? I keep 2 versions of Twitter open. I have TweetDeck open, and then I have Twitter open on the other side. And I let the normal Twitter just sit there and run a tally because I can check my notifications at the end of the show and see how many came through. And, you know, it's nuts. So if you want to hang out, and one of the cool things about TweetDeck and the sandbox and the way that we run things here for all of you is the conversations that occur inside of Twitter. It's so cool, and it's in real time. And if Twitter's not your bag, then you can go over to Spreaker, where we have a chat room there. And that's also very cool. And there's no schmucks, no schmoes, no doofuses. Nobody hangs out. You get run out. And so it's just a cool place to hang out. And that Spreaker chat room will bust, 1,100, 1,000 a night. Slow night is like 950. So it's really, really cool. And then, of course, there is the KGRA chat room. So there's many places to just go and hang out. All right? Do it. It's a real-time show, and especially on Thursday nights. Now, I'm going to let everybody know, too, a couple of things really quick. Right after the show tonight, I go straight home. I jump in bed. We tape for History Channel all weekend, and it's going to be, I have got an 8 a.m. call tomorrow. Oh, ouch. Which means I'm up at 6. Show ends at 10. Home by 11. In bed by 11:30. Oh, man. Up at 6. Oh, phew. It's going to be a long weekend, but big news on the horizon here. I can't wait to start to make all of these announcements with everybody. It's going to be really, really cool. I hope I didn't get in trouble just by announcing that. I don't think so. All right. Life Change Tea. I hit my colostrum right before the show tonight. And, man, I got moringa. I just got moringa in the bottle. I haven't done it yet, but I'm really, really looking forward to that. I did my D365, by the way, all weekend in San Francisco, which is the mobile version of the tea. And if you want to change yourself, help support the show, just go to the banner right now, Life Change Tea. GetTheTea.com. Use the promo code Jimmy. And it's just amazing stuff. Amazing. And, of course, Studio Dome still has their special for the FADERNIGHts right now. It's a TWS True Wireless Stereo Bluetooth Technology high-fidelity system for $129. Hard shell case. Just use the promo code JCRTWS, again, over at the website. Contact in the Desert coming up. Can't believe it. It's less than 4 weeks away, 3.5 weeks away. Contact in the Desert, June 3rd through the 6th in Joshua Tree, California. Made the announcement last night. We found the facility for our Saturday night FADERNIGHT party. That's the hot ticket in town. I'm telling you right now, that's the place to be, is wherever you guys are on Saturday night. And there you go. Somebody's not getting their deposit back. I'm just letting you know. Graham Hancock, Robert Bivall, Giorgio Tsoukalos, David Wilcock, Eric Von Daniken, George Norrie, Jim Mars, David Hatcher Childress, Danny Sheehan. I could go on and on and on. Mike Barra. Everybody is going to be there. Just go to the link right now. Contact in the Desert over on our appearances section of the website. It's right down on the right. Oh, I've got another big announcement tonight. Well, I got a semi-announcement. The Roswell Festival is June 30th through July 3rd in Roswell, New Mexico. Spent a lot of time talking about that last night. Yes, really looking forward to that. Both of these conferences we will be broadcasting on Friday night. So hanging out with the FADERNIGHts, always doing a live show from a live location is really, really cool. So come and hang out with all of us. And then, at the Roswell Festival, we're going to go out and go to the crash site. Yes, which is BLM property now, but, the Brazel Ranch. And so come and hang out with everybody at the Roswell Festival. Now, we will not be appearing at the UFOs Within Reach conference in Big Bear. And we made that announcement last night. We do apologize to everybody that was planning on going and hanging out with us. But, we just have a scheduling conflict that we can't avoid. But we have another conference that we have been invited to as well. And that happened today. So it looks like we've got your August covered here in California. And we will start to make that announcement. Let me ask Rita. Rita, did that make it onto their website? Is that official? Do you want me to go ahead and announce this conference? And I'll leave that up to Rita, and we'll announce that later on in the show. So there you go. Okay? All right. Let's get this show cracking. Today, Adele is 28. Is that right? Adele is only 28 years old? Rita says not yet. Okay. All right. Well, we'll make the announcement on Monday then. Today, Adele is 28 years old. I thought she was older. I mean, she sings older than that, if you know what I mean. Wow, I didn't know she was that young. Brooke Hogan today is 28. Her dad just won that how much did he win in that lawsuit? 150 million? Well, yeah, and got paid too, by the way. And he's gone back for seconds. I don't know if you guys saw that. He's gone back after Gawker I think he's going down for another 50 mil. All right. Well, you win the first one, you're probably going to win the second one. Our dead guy's birthday today is Tammy Wynette. 1942 to 1998. Died so young, the age of 55. Known as the First Lady of Country Music, and had that humongo hit, Stand By Your Man, which was, of course, immortalized by the Blues Brothers. After years of medical problems, numerous hospitalizations, and 15 major operations, and an addiction to large doses of pain medication, she died while sleeping on her couch on April 6th, 1998, at the age of 55. Happy birthday, Tammy. Stand by your man. On this day in history, 1961, allegedly, from Cape Canaveral, Florida, Navy Commander Alan Shepard is launched into space aboard the Freedom 7 space capsule, becoming the first American astronaut, allegedly, to travel into space. Allegedly. Fate or fact? This is crazy. I love doing this every single night. The University of Texas did a study, and they followed 474 diet soda drinkers. Followed them for 10 years. 10 years, 474 diet soda drinkers. And found that their waist grew 70% more than the waist of non-drinkers. Diet soda. Yeah. Tonight's Fader Night. Open lines all night long. The bottom of the hour, it's a Jon Rappoport in 15 short minutes and his No More Fake newsroom. Now, with everything that is happening right now, and it's heavy. We have the confusion of Washington, D.C. They don't really know what's going on. And the world, we have what's going on in Russia, North Korea, of course. We have what's going on in the Middle East, which has flooded over into Europe. London counts as Europe. It's just a little piece of water in between. North Africa. It's everywhere. And there's something confusing going on for me. And it's this. It's called space. We, the United States, and if you look at the amount of, I don't have the facts in front of me. I didn't do it today in my research. In other words, it didn't matter because the numbers are just so tilted. Is this: he who owns space owns the military, owns the globe. Kind of goes in that order, right? And there isn't supposed to be a weaponization of space, but we know that there is. Of course, there is. Reagan and Star Wars and that side of things, which started off as a bluff, which means it's not a bluff, which means it was already there, which means, it's now just go with me. When you look at the other countries that have launched satellites besides the United States, and you've got France, you've got Spain, you've got, of course, the United Kingdom, you've got India, you've got Pakistan, you've got Japan, you've got China, Russia, Australia, and a few other countries. And, of course, allegedly, North Korea's even got something up there. But those are small numbers compared to the amount of satellites that are up there that are ours, right? And what we are doing with ours. And we have this domination. I mean, who in the world right now can challenge the United States in anything? And the answer is none. Now, there are people out there that will say, oh, China's a threat, they're coming after us. Russia's a threat, they're coming after us. North Korea's a threat. No, they're not. Not at all. There's nothing anybody can do. There's nothing anybody can do with the might of the United States. And it's not only the size of what we have and the quality of what we have. That's part of it. But we own space. Okay? Everything that goes on the ground right now is dealt with through space. The first uses of this technology was in the first Gulf War. Second Gulf War, we saw a huge proliferation and increase in guided weapons and satellite technology. But this is where it gets a little strange. Because with all of this power and everything that we have, here in the United States, we don't feel that power. Because we look around here and we know here in the United States that life has been going backwards a little bit. Right? At one point in the United States, all of the highways were brand new. Construction going on. All of those elementary schools that you see in the high school, they were built in the 50s and 60s. We have of course there's new schools around, a sprinkling of them. But just imagine the growth that the United States had after World War II and what was spent on the inside of this country everywhere. It wasn't just the infrastructure, the streets, the roads, the bridges, but it was the schools, the colleges, and the houses and the homes that were built. The entire country was like from sea to shining sea, was brand new in the blink of an eye. And things haven't really changed since then. Right? But yet we spend and spend and spend on satellites, defense, submarines, aircraft carriers, things that, theoretically, hopefully, should never be used. Airplanes, F-35, F-22. They're not even flying, by the way. So, but this is what gets funky for me. Why weaponize space? Why make that expansion? Because we've taken it as far as we can on Earth. And why would we be building something in space? There's something that tells me that we are building a defense system because A, somebody has to, and we're the only ones there. B, we know of something that we need to defend the Earth from. And C, we don't want anybody else out there. We don't want China's dominance up there. We don't want Russia's dominance up there. We don't want any of it, not even our friends. We want to own space. We had made deals going back decades that this would not happen. But the exact opposite has. It is us that owns space. It has to be an uncomfortable position for everybody else on the planet knowing that, hey, man, you're not sharing the toys. Yeah, we let them fire up a satellite once in a while. Sure. You know, we let them participate. We let them build rockets, and we'll use their rockets to launch our satellites. We'll give them a little satellite to fire up there so they can say that they've got something up there. But in the real world, it's nothing compared to what we have, which is in the tens of thousands. And you should go look at the numbers. So why is it when somebody says, hey, man, Russia's got this. You know, they've got so many submarines. They've got this. They just built an aircraft carrier. They got more submarines. They've got this. No, they don't have nothing. And if you look at China or anybody else, what they have here on the earth, it doesn't matter because they don't have anything up there. And we can take out, we know every single satellite they have, and we can take it out. And you don't necessarily take it out with a laser. You know how you do it? You ram it with another satellite. That's all you got to do. Tap it. Get it spinning, and it's done. Knock it out of orbit. That's all you got to do. Like bumper cars. Okay, it's not some crazy advanced technology. You've just got your rogue guy up there that is just built to go up and hit other satellites. And that's it. You get that thing spinning, it's done. It's out of control. And we know where everyone is. We own space. And I guess that was more important than our own country. And I don't get the balance. Now, I set all of this up for you so you can understand the concept of what I'm saying. And this is where I think we've lost touch with ourselves. And I'm talking about Washington and all of you, where they've lost touch, which is this. It's okay to go and dominate space if we've got all of our stuff straight here in this country. When we have everything so together, where we have schools that are brand new and you've got 10 kids in each class, right? Then and every road we cannot build any more roads. We've got too many roads and they're all brand new. We don't have any bridges left to repair or build new. We've spent all the money that we cannot spend. It's kind of like Monopoly when you've built up all of the hotels around and you can't improve Monopoly anymore, right? That's when you go and dominate space, and that's when you go and you dominate the seas, and that's when you go and spend the extra money somewhere else. But right now, we've got issues in this country. And I just don't see how it's so backwards in the spending. There's no reason to spend like we do in the directions that we do. And we're going through an election cycle right now. And what I am speaking about right now, which should be the one thing that is first, that is spoken about by any candidate, and nobody has, is exactly what I've just said right now. It's that simple. That should be the platform. And it's not happening. And I just don't get it. Just because we felt the need to own space. And I don't think that if we would have not taken charge, up there like we did, I don't think anybody else would have done it either. It's weird. Healthcare and education is dominant and housing for every country out there except for North Korea in the world. That's all they're concerned about. It doesn't matter how poor the country is. They just look out for their citizens first. But not here. And we're the ones with the money. I don't get it. It's confusing, isn't it? And I look at every day, I wish there was something I could do. I just wish there was something I could do. I've often dreamed, like all of us, when you're 5 years old, 10 years old, and your dreams are to be a king of a country somewhere and just go at your own island and just make things right, and you just want to conquer the world and do things that are great, right? Well, you grow up and you find out you can't do that. But I wish there was a way that I could, because these things seem so simple to me. There's just way too much money and opportunity and everything here. And for some reason, I just don't understand why we just don't do it. I don't understand it. But fortunately, you know what? I've got somebody around me for you guys that Rita brought into our lives. His name is Jon Rappoport. And Jon Rappoport, over the last few months on this program, not only as a guest, but now, as a journalist for us, is somebody that does exactly what I wish I would have done. Go out there and make change and make it happen. Because his knowledge and what he talks about and how he gets to it and how he communicates that knowledge is golden. So listen to Jon tonight, the No More Fake Newsroom. It's a good moment. This is Fade to Black. It's open lines all night long. I am not doom and gloom. I'm just a guy that has questions. And I'll be back with Jon Rappoport right after this. This is Fade to Black. We're going to open up the phone lines all night long. 323-825-5045. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. It's Thursday. It's Fader night. Let's do this, man.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I got to tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up. Standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world, as it is fed to us every single day by the Ministry of Truth, is a lie. False reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash. They all go down, and we see the light of day. A new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thanks, Jimmy. We've got 3 stories tonight. Want to recap the first story that I did when we started this segment on astronauts having paranormal experiences in space. And if you didn't tune in to that, check it out in the archive. Also, it was about astronauts in the U.S. For example, one astronaut reporting that from deep space, he could see with his eyes, just with his eyes, people walking around down on Earth. Soviet cosmonauts meeting dead relatives in space. An interview that I had with a Soviet psychic working for the Soviet government back in the days of the USSR. But there was one thing I wanted to check, and that was there any chance that NASA had suppressed these reports from their own astronauts? We know they did, because the astronauts had become disoriented. This was some sort of psychological effect, and NASA wanted to cover it up, to keep it private. So I had an interview with one of my sources, and I'll just say that he is a press person who has connections in the right places when it comes to these matters. And what he told me was quite the opposite. He said, no, not at all. Just the opposite. Extraordinary clarity went along with these paranormal experiences. They performed their appointed tasks well. They had a sense of euphoria, but it was very stable. They were very enthusiastic about their experiences. And upon returning, generally speaking, their lives had changed by dint of these experiences. So for NASA to cover that up is quite something different, because now what we're looking at is covering up the positive effects of being out in space, outside the gravity well, from a different perspective, seeing space, seeing Earth, and the effects that it can have on certain persons. Paranormal effects, to be sure, recounted by both U.S. astronauts and Soviet cosmonauts. Why would space agencies want to cover this up? Well, I think the answer is pretty obvious. That's the cat that nobody in official circles wants to let out of the bag. That such experiences are not only possible, but they do occur. And they occur to extremely well-trained, straight-ahead, intelligent, problem-solving representatives of government, the astronauts, highly praised in their time. That these were not off-the-wall people. They could be considered, in fact, extremely normal in many respects, and that's why they got the job. And yet, even they, out in space, had these undeniable experiences, which they reported upon return, which were suppressed by NASA. Because letting that paranormal cat out of the bag in any sort of official way, now begins to paint an entirely different picture of the human experience, as anybody could readily see. Things are not as we think they are. Life on Earth is not all that it's cracked up to be. It's a lot more than it's cracked up to be. And if somebody off on the side wants to say that, okay, but an official body of government claiming this to be so, that after all debriefing, all psychological testing, etc., they pass the test, that as far as anybody can tell, trained observers, these astronauts did in fact have these experiences, and therefore they are open to people to have. They exist. They're real. They're not hallucinations. They're the genuine article. That's what has to be covered up. That's what has to be taken back many notches and hidden in files away from the public. This is what Earth civilization has to repress from view. And remember, again, and I'll close with this on the story, this is not about reporting unbalanced experiences, weird, strange, poltergeistic kinds of events and so on and so forth. Not at all. This is straight down the middle of the road. Put somebody who is alert, well-trained, rational, intelligent, normal out into space, and look what happens. So the takeaway would be, if an official body dared to back all this up, the takeaway would be these paranormal experiences are real, and they are not hallucinatory. They're not imbalancing. They don't take people away from their lives and put them in a hole. They don't make people retreat from life. Indeed, these experiences enhance human life and raise it up to a higher level. It's a sane experience, in other words, you see. The paranormal is a sane experience. That's what has to be covered up. Okay, let's move on to story 2 tonight. And this is a blockbuster. As you know, if you've been reading any of my pieces for any length of time at No More Fake News, there is one story that I keep pounding on. And I have made contacts in major media about this story over the years, and nobody wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole, and that has to do with medical damage in the U.S. And I have quoted, referred to, cited time and time again, a review that was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association on July 26, 2000 by Dr. Barbara Starfield, who was, during her life, a revered public health expert at Johns Hopkins University. So everybody's credentials up and down the line, mainstream, meticulous, standard, terrific, and so forth. Her review was called, "Is U.S. health really the best in the world?" And her conclusion was that every year in the U.S., the medical system kills 225,000 people. She told me in an interview, this is a conservative estimate. So if you extrapolate that out, what you get is the U.S. medical system kills 2.25 million people per decade. Gigantic. Well, since the first time that I published this, I have found additional citations and studies and so forth to bolster what Dr. Starfield concluded. Absolutely. However, now, 2 days ago in the Washington Post, we have a new study carried out again at Johns Hopkins University, this time published in the British Medical Journal, another prestigious mainstream journal. And here we have the following. Medical errors are the third leading cause of death in the United States. Third leading cause of death. 250,000 deaths a year from medical errors. Severe injuries per year from medical treatment. 10 million a year. Extrapolate that out to a decade, 100 million severe injuries as a result of medical errors. Now, because I compared this new study to the Starfield study of 2000, and I won't go into all the details and adjustments, I rounded off the death number to 300,000 a year from the medical system as a result of the U.S. medical system. That would include not only errors in hospitals and medical facilities, but also from doctors' offices, average doctors' offices, and particularly from medical drugs, which Starfield emphasizes, but is not particularly mentioned specifically in the new study. 300,000 deaths a year in the U.S. Can you imagine what would happen if something esoteric like chemtrails, for example, was found to cause 300,000 deaths in the U.S. every year? And it was printed and published in a mainstream official journal? So what I've been doing is simply focusing on the medical system, because that's where it's coming from. 100 million severe injuries per decade. We're not just talking about a little adverse effects from, no, we're talking about severe effects, debilitating effects, and 3 million deaths per decade in the U.S. This is all in the U.S. So the new study now states straight ahead, 10% of all deaths in the U.S. come from medical errors. 10%. Third leading cause of death in America. And, get this, the Centers of Disease Control, which is the agency of the United States that is responsible for reporting on mortality figures, has no statistics on any of this. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Why? Because they don't require reports of deaths that come in from around the country from medical sources to indicate when a patient's death results from a medical error or mistreatment or the like. This is the agency that above all should be interested in this, but they have no interest. They do not require it. There is no code for reporting it, and so no one reports it to the Centers for Disease Control. And that's one of the reasons that enables them to say nothing about any of this, but this new mainstream, right down the middle study from Johns Hopkins indicates to the CDC, hey boys, wake up. Guess what you've overlooked? 250,000 deaths a year, which I rounded off to 300,000, as a result of medical errors. You folks at the CDC have been, at the very least, asleep at the switch. You don't want to know this, actually. You don't want to report it. You don't want to think about it. You don't want to inform anyone about it. So you have no means of having it reported to you. This is not an accident. After all this time, after the Starfield study was published in the year 2000, this would not have alerted the CDC. You know, boys, I think maybe we should have a way that people can report to us the number of medically caused deaths in the U.S. every year, because after all, it's gigantic. No, I don't think we'll do that. I think we'll just finesse that entirely. So we have no reports from that cause. No reports? No reports. Zero reports. Yeah, we'll just concentrate on other things. Okay? Okay, good. All right. Next issue. What about the missing coffee cups in the cafeteria? That's your Centers for Disease Control. So what does this mean in terms of the media? Well, what it means is, and I'll tell you right away, there is a formula in major media. It's my formula, but it applies to major media. One story means nothing if they don't pound on it week after week, month after month, and send out their hounds to look in every nook, every little niche, every little hole, every little crack, and get people to come out of the closet and confess that they knew all along of this horrendous Holocaust, medical Holocaust. If they don't do that, if they don't keep adding it up and keep bolstering it and keep printing new confessions of medical bureaucrats and so forth and doctors who knew all along and did nothing about it, and the government which did nothing about it and has done nothing about it of any consequence, if media does not do that, the story dies. It sinks like a stone into the pond. And that's what will happen to the Washington Post story that just appeared 2 days ago about this new study. It will sink like a stone. I guarantee it. In a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, people will forget that it ever was there if they read it at all. And life will go on. Business as usual. That's the way major media works. But it doesn't have to work that way for you, the listeners. It certainly doesn't work that way for me. So I keep bringing it up. And I keep bringing it up. And I keep bringing it up. So that you know. And you can spread the word. Story number 3. A beauty. This is one of these stories that starts, with a strange kind of little thing, and then it just blows up and blows up and blows up and blows up. And the story started that the National Football League told its players, don't eat a lot of meat from China or Mexico, because some of that meat contains a drug called clenbuterol, which is a muscle builder. Steroid, in other words. And therefore, you boys can test positive for steroids, in which case we suspend you without pay for many games. You are responsible. That was the clue. All right. So, and in fact, this has happened to at least one National Football League athlete, and other athletes in other sports tested positive for steroids, and after a protest, it was discovered that, in fact, the athlete had not been taking steroids, but had been eating meat in Mexico or China. And so no suspension. All right? But wait a minute. Eating meat in Mexico, in China? What about the meat that is exported from Mexico into the United States, for example? Same meat. So I guess the NFL players get a warning, but we, the people, don't. We don't have to warn the citizens about this, so they eat steroids. Well, okay, they're just going to have to deal with it, but if we don't say anything, then it'll fly under the radar and nobody will know. They'll just experience the effects. Well, as it turns out, and now the story begins to expand, in 2015, the U.S. government officially overturned a rule on labeling of beef and pork that came into the U.S. from Mexico and Canada. Previously, the meat had to be labeled from Mexico, from Canada, because people have a right to know where their meat is coming from, okay? Talking about beef and pork here. But in 2015, all of that was overturned, and suddenly the U.S. passed a bill. It was kind of a rider on a bill saying there may no longer be any indication on beef or pork about where it is coming from when it comes into the United States. Not, you don't have to label it, you can't label it, cannot label it. Therefore, you and I and everybody else in the U.S. has no idea where the meat is coming from. And as you can see from where I started here, we would like to know, because I don't know about you, but I have no interest in eating clenbuterol. However, that's now a problem because I can't know where the meat is coming from. That's now a law. How did that happen, you may ask? I certainly ask. How did that happen? Why was that law passed? Why was the previous labeling completely overturned? Well, I'll tell you, because of a little thing that I frequently discuss and write about called globalism. It's called the World Trade Organization, that was put in place in the middle 90s. Bill Clinton signed it into being as a result of a treaty called GATT, which was negotiated since 1945. And this was a Rockefeller globalist priority called free trade that would supposedly enable the trade of goods to flow around the world with no tariffs and everything is wonderful. But of course, hidden in all of these trade treaties are perks, gigantic perks the size of Mount Everest for mega corporations to facilitate their business and to make it more profitable by far, while at the same time impoverishing nations because jobs close up here in the U.S., companies move overseas. You know the story, or at least part of it, which I won't go into at the moment. But according to GATT and according to the World Trade Organization that was set up, any nation can sue another nation if they feel that the sale of their products to that nation is being hindered by some unpleasant rules, arbitrary rules, you see, that the nation is setting. And so in this case, what Canada and Mexico put before the World Trade Organization was, hey, the U.S. wants to make us label our beef and pork when we export it to the U.S. And we say that this is a restraint on trade. It's just terrible and horrible, and we will not have it. So we are here to forge with suing the U.S. And Canada and Mexico won. This was not a U.S. court. This was a World Trade Organization tribunal that hovers above U.S. law, above the law of any of the signatories of any of the nations that have signed on to the GATT treaty. The U.S. can do nothing about it. And so the U.S. was suddenly on the hook for $1 billion for refusing, for demanding that meat sent from Canada and Mexico into the U.S. had to be labeled. You can't do that. You can't demand labeling. No. And this $1 billion fine would just be the start of the fines if the U.S. refused to change its policy. More billions would have followed. So what did the U.S. government do without trumpeting it? Just stuck a little thing on a bill in Congress and passed it. Okay, and Obama signed it, and that's it. No more labels on point of source for beef or pork. So you and I and everybody else in the U.S. could now be happily going our way eating clenbuterol in meat, a steroid, and we wouldn't even know it. And that's why we wouldn't know it. A little thing called globalism. That's the way it works. And we have 2 gigantic trade treaties on the table impending right now called the TPP and the TTIP that involve the U.S. and Europe and a number of nations in Asia, which will do nothing but continue to strengthen certain corporate predatory interests, shall we say, in making more money and hijacking and torpedoing strong economies around the world. But I wanted to tell you about the meat issue because it's a biggie, and it remains a biggie, and it will continue to be even bigger as more imports of pork and beef come into the U.S. with a giant, why don't they just put a question mark on it so you know? So you're reminded when you buy it in the store. Oh, yeah, the question mark. That means I have no idea where it comes from. Okay, that's right. Well, let's see. All right. Should I eat it? Should I cook it? Should I not?
Hey, John, I got to jump in before we run out of time. Absolutely stunning report tonight on all 3 counts. But as everybody knows, I'm a big beef guy, right? And wouldn't sales increase for like Argentina or Brazil if we knew? I mean, I would buy Argentine beef, but the clenbuterol thing, I take that every morning because I just like a shot of clenbuterol when I wake up. But it is the stuff that comes out of South America. Don't they love their beef? Down there, they respect it a bit more than we do up here, and they want to
like to think so. I'm not sure if on all counts that's true.
Right?
Maybe from some farms, but see, here's what I think is going to happen, because Canada and Mexico have won their battle. It's now going to be deemed unfair for anybody to say where it's coming from, because that would give them an unfair advantage. And Alberta beef that rivals Argentina for that matter.
Right.
And
the quality and the way that they care for their beef, and they're proud of their product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I think perhaps that this was slanted toward Mexico, so that because we know about the clenbuterol coming in from Mexico, so that would be a cover. Now you can't know. Now you don't know. So, if you find your muscles getting bigger and you don't know why, look to the meat.
John, you are the best, my brother. Thank you so much. And keep your eyes open this weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for all that you do. Of course, John's website, nomorefakenews.com. That's the start of your day. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Jon bleepin' Rappoport. Man, he is, how do I say this? He makes all of us kids, legit. Thank you, Jon, for what you do. The very, very best. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Thursday night. It is Fader Night. Taking your calls next. 323-825-5045. You like your beef with a little shot of clenbuterol? I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
Hey folks, Life Change Tea here, reminding you that colds and flus suck. Feeling lousy sucks, and allergies really can be annoying. What if you could change that? What if you could drink something that changed the sick and tired scenario? Well, you can change how you feel with a little help from Life Change Tea. Life Change Tea is a drink you make, you control, and you drink. There are 8 organic herbs that blend together and give you what you need to fight the flus and colds of this world. Less sickness is more relief. Life Change Tea can help with high blood pressure, constipation, high cholesterol, and much, much more just by drinking the tea. Read the numerous testimonies at getthetea.com. If you're tired of feeling lousy, order right now at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or you can call us at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. If you've heard this commercial more than once and someone's trying to tell you something, it's time to get well. GetTheTea.com.
Imagine no longer being tied down to your computer, but having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application. The talk shows you follow now follow you. And your iPhone is now the fastest and easiest way to stay connected to the best talk radio on the internet. Let TalkStream Live transform the way you listen to radio. Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mobile talk radio from TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm hanging out over in the Spreaker chat room, trying to divide my time. Man, they're out of control over there. I thought the sandbox was nuts. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Thursday night. It is Fader Night. Catalina just said, "What's up, Catalina?" She goes, "Jimmy, I want to hear more about the expo and what you learned." I learned that a $19 cheeseburger tastes pretty good. Now, if it would have been $5, would it have tasted as good? You know? Slap at $19. It was good, though. It was a good burger. And Dave Cruz was with us and to my left at the table. And he had a $19 burger, too. He went blue cheese. I went Swiss cheese. Ask Dave if that burger was $19. And don't take it from me. It was pretty damn snappy. All right. What did I learn? What did I learn from the conference? You know what I learned? Okay. All right. I learned a few things. Number one, San Francisco, and I've said it before, but San Francisco is cold. Okay? It's cold. Friday night there,
Friday day and Friday night, it was like, man, we're not going to make it through this weekend. This is gnarly stuff. And then Saturday and Sunday, they did a couple of chants out there. And I got to tell you, weather was perfect. That's what I learned about San Francisco. They've got us fooled, okay? They don't want people to move there. And there's that element of it. And then the next thing that I learned, and I'm being serious about this because we didn't meet, it was really strange. Not that many people came in from out of town. This is like a towny event. This is a San Francisco event. But I learned that the people in San Francisco are some of the coolest, warmest, nicest, beautiful people in the world. It's really trippy, when you run into that circle. And then there's the other element of San Francisco that absolutely hates everybody from L.A. but they weren't at the conference. Now, other stuff, I'll talk about that throughout the show. What did I learn? Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Jimmy Church, my friend. How are you?
And who is this?
This would be Ben from Bristol, Tennessee.
Hey, Ben from Bristol, Tennessee. How are you, man?
Buddy, I am good. I'm telling you what, man, the last couple of weeks that you have had, especially Ralph Ellis, man, game changer, paradigm changer, a lot of good stuff out there.
Well, let me
ask a lot of questions.
Well, Ben, let me ask you this because you're a smart guy. Ralph Ellis, be sure to tell your family, Jimmy said, okay? All right? So listen up, people. I am smart. Okay? You can do that. Is this, Ralph Ellis is a gem, right? He's a gem. What was the one thing, the list could be really long, but what was the one thing that you took away from Ralph's 3 appearances?
Wow, you know what? And I did. It took me a little while. I'm one of those guys that always catch up on the show the day after. I'm never able to stay up the whole night. But just the whole deal with the whole Jesus concept of him. And you're gonna have to refresh my memory and pardon me, but for being basically a two king person.
Yes, there's the, you know what? And that, once you open up that door, right? Once you open up that door, then everything is off, right? Everything, it changes. But the one thing, once you open up the door to Jesus, King of Edessa, and you shift the timeline
that's
from...
where I was going with that,
Right, and you shift everything from AD 30 to AD 70... and the Jewish uprising, right? Everything that we have been taught is wrong and a lie. Isn't that bizarre? Because everything changes. Everything changes, man. It's pretty bold.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to go back, and I'm going to have to sit down with my Google Earth and re-listen to your Monday night show because I did listen to it, but to go back and actually sit down and do the Google Maps. But anyway, but and then listening last night, and I know you experienced some difficulties there with John Lear, but listening to you last night too, and with that, and I walked away from last night's show kind of thinking to myself, well, what if? And I'm just throwing this out there. I'm to be honest with you, Jimmy, I'm pretty skeptical when it comes to a lot of this stuff.
You have to be.
Yeah. And but I kind of walk away from this, and I was thinking to myself today. I was like, well, what if all of this? What if everything that's being said, being talked about, how we are with our FADERNIGHTs and everybody, and the way we like to look at things, and we all have open minds. But what if all of this stuff is right? What if it's right? And what if you throw in any number of the things that we talk about. What if it's correct? And what if we're just being protected? What if we are being protected from something that's ominous and And I think about our technology and everything from drones to Elon Musk and launching rockets into outer space, private companies being able to do this now. And what if just somebody's getting ready to say, hello world, hello Earth, you're getting a little too far advanced, and it's time for us to press the reset button again.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. And when we start to, as you move along through this little project that we call Fade to Black with us, Ben, and the rest of the family, as we are assembling this information and the big picture, it doesn't all have to be about UFOs or Egypt or Göbekli Tepe or the Feds or the NWO or Cabal or Illuminati. It's just one big thing, right? It's just one big knowledge base. But as we start to move along, there's one thing that we're starting to find out that keeps ringing true, and that is throughout history, forever, we have not been told the truth. And that is how you control the masses. That's it. And they've gotten so acclimated to that. But now we're finding out easy ways or an easier path to the truth because we're just becoming smarter as people, and we're not dumb, anymore. Not dumb as in dumb as in not having the real knowledge, right? But now we're starting to figure things out, that things just cannot be the way that we have been told for thousands of years, hundreds of years, the last 10 years, or this week. It's pretty interesting.
But don't you ever wonder, though, how many times that has happened before?
It's every, Ben, do you remember? Okay, I talk about this so much, but it's really true. If you think about it, going back, let's go back. Pick a date. Let's go back. Give me a number. 5,000 years, 4,000 years, right?
Sure.
Just go back and it could be Asia. It could be Europe.
It could be anything.
It could be
any crucifixion. It could be the building of the pyramids. It could go back
but hear me out. Pick out any continent, any civilization, right? And then you have the structure there that is going on. And if people are dying, whatever it is, people are dying, and they know that it is mosquitoes, the elders of the village know, or that it's bad meat, spoiled meat, or that it's contaminated milk, or maybe it's bad beer, whatever it is, but it's killing people. All they did was lie to them. Because if, and by telling them a lie, such as God says, don't drink beer, right?
Or you must only eat this particular type of meat.
And because procreation and the survival of the village is paramount, right? Is paramount. So just tell them anything that God says, right? Well, that practice has now gone on because they just figured out, hey, man, it's pretty easy to lie to these folks. They'll believe anything, and so
exactly, yes.
Yes, and so the lie, right? The lie became so easy to tell. And it's gone into so many different areas now. For instance, I'll give you a really classic example. A couple of feuding families in Europe, a couple of kingdoms, right? A couple of fiefdoms. And I want their property because they got the best apple trees and the best cattle over there. We need to ransack that castle, but we're not quite. Let's tell our people that they raped my sister, right? Whatever it is, just make something up.
I can bring that really close to my home here in Northeast Tennessee. I was actually raised in East Kentucky, the Hatfields and McCoys.
That's exactly.
It was all over a pig.
Yep.
For lack of a better way to put it. You start hearing this, and people start believing it, but But I just really believe that. I believe I've mentioned this to you before, but I believe that our technology is reaching the point where it's almost dangerous right now, in that we are getting ready to be it drones, be it the space flights that are getting ready to happen, where people can pay and go up into lower Earth orbit. But I believe that we're getting ready to venture out into a point where we're going to see things that, wow, this is really out there. All of this stuff that, we talk about, all this stuff that we hear is real, and there are other life forms out there, all of the other planets, and we're hearing more and more every day. And then it's like, the good old people down there on Earth, yep, they've reached their max once again. Let's press the reset button.
Ben, that's exactly, you are so right and so on the money, because if you think about it, that little thing I said, God says don't do it, right? Yeah. Well, 5,000 years ago, those visitors from space were the gods. And that's what they were, that was something that the big lie that had to be told. The population of a village could not even handle the thought of them being from the stars, another planet, alien, not of, no, they're just gods. Oh, yeah, they're just gods. The gods come from the stars. The gods come from the heavens. That's where you go when you die. You go back there, and they're up there, and that's it. It's amazing how that dogma is what has been here throughout time.
Forever.
Yep. And
I'm with you, brother.
Yep. And to unravel that lie and have to admit to it at any level, that's an uncomfortable position for the bosses to be in. But unfortunately, we're going to end up finding out on our own. If it was me, I would come clean at some level if I was them. You remember when your dad used to tell you when you were a kid, right? I know you lied, but if you just tell the truth, it'll be all right.
It's all in the Vatican, Jimmy. It's all hidden in the Vatican.
If you just tell me the truth. All right, Dad, I did it. Oh, you did? Go to your room. You're grounded for a month. But I thought you said it'd be all right. Well, I didn't crack you, did I? And so
no doubt.
It's kind of like that. It really is. Ben, you're a smart guy, man.
Really
so what's going on this season?
Well, Bud, we just we finished up a couple of weeks ago with our Food City 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Saw it.
We have the NHRA drag race coming up, Father's Day weekend at Bristol Dragway. We have the night race at August. But, Jimmy, you hear the coolest thing that we're doing this year, we are going to host the world's largest college football game. The University of Tennessee is going to play Virginia Tech.
I saw that.
Speedway on September the 10th.
Dude, that is
really cool, because it's going to be God bless the folks up in Michigan. I know you probably have some listeners up there, because I've heard them call in before. But
right,
we're going to bust the attendance record for a college football game.
You guys,
at Bristol Motor Speedway.
You guys, I got to jump in. Well, I've seen the numbers for this, right? And I've seen a couple of the mock-ups of what this is going to look like. And I got to tell you, that is as close to Rome, right, at around 60 AD. I mean,
we're going to have 160,000 people sitting around the stadium watching a football game.
That is insane.
In September.
That is insane. And it's sold out.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yep, pretty much.
Unbelievable. Well, congratulations on everything, man. And I'm going
to echo, and I don't know who it was that called in last night and talked to you, but I'm going to echo their comments. We have got to get you to attend something. If we have to start it up ourselves and create some wonderful, paranormal, fate or not convention here on the East Coast, because we got to get you and Rita out here to the east side, and Les lives probably less than, I don't know, gosh, he's about an hour from me over in Nashville, North Carolina.
Right.
and then the guy from Bluefield,
Steve from Bluefield.
Yeah, he's an hour and a half up the road, and he hasn't called in that much recently, but we need to get him back on the fence. But we got to get you guys out here, and I know you said you may have something cooking for New York, but would love to get you somewhere here in the Carolinas, Georgia, Tennessee, Nashville. I don't know, but get you guys to come out here and do it upright for all of us people that are FADERNIGHTs and support you on the East Coast.
Well, and for nothing else, Rita has got to experience a Cracker Barrel. She's got to experience a Waffle House. She has to experience a Steak and Shake, and she has to experience a White Castle. She has. Can you believe that? How do you live in America? How do you call yourself an American?
Let's take it to another level. Let's get you some good Tennessee barbecue.
Well, and any kind. It doesn't matter if it's Memphis, Nashville, right? It doesn't matter. Right. Two different kinds of barbecue too there as well. And
you got the vinegar base, the mustard base. You got the dry rub.
Dry rub. Yep. And you haven't lived until you got to the Peabody and had that dry rub. Oh man.
Amen.
Hey Ben, thank you so much, my brother. And
Jimmy, you take care, buddy, and we love you. And just keep up the good work.
We'll get out there. Thank you so much, Ben.
All right, preach on, brother.
You got it, brother. That is Ben Trout. From Bristol Motor Speedway, the vice president, and there you go. You got fans out there when Bristol Motor Speedway and Ben Trout are calling in and talking the paranormal. It doesn't get any better than that. Les just said, or crystals. What? You know what? I kind of want to know. When I get excited, when my voice all tightens up. Who would prefer? Who prefers crystals over White Castle? I want to know. This is my show. I can talk about what I want. What's better? What do you think is better, Crystal or White Castles? Because I got to tell you, I don't think there's any question. I'm going White Castle on that one. Crystals, although good and cheap and all that, man, at 2:00 in the morning, and you just close the bar, I don't think that there's anything finer than a bag full of White Castle double cheeseburgers. 8 of them. All right, let's go back to the phone. 8 of them. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy. This is Kirk.
This is who?
Sorry, I had to actually take off my. I have feedback on my end.
Okay.
Hey, anyways, this is Kirk. I'm actually a first-time caller. I've been listening to your radio show for. I actually found you from, and I actually never heard of a crystals until when I was stationed in Valdosta, Georgia.
Oh,
and
really?
We were out drinking. So I was like, hey, let's get crystals. Like, hey, what's crystals? It's like White Castle. It's like, oh, shoot.
Right. And how'd that go for you, Kurt?
I would say prefer crystals over White Castle.
Is that right? Well, Crystal's got better French fries. All right. I'll go that. But why? Really? Okay. There's something about the tackiness, the cheapness of White Castles. They, punching the holes in the burgers and frying those onions in there and purposefully making them as inexpensive as possible. They're not even buns. They're not hamburger buns. They're like cheap dinner rolls without taste, right?
You know what though? The thing is though, I think I just associate crystals with going out and having fun with my buddies.
Same thing with White Castle. Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Well, I meant crystals.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
when I was, in the military. We'd go out on the weekends after a hard day's work. It's all fun and games, and so I can't really think of any time when I actually went to White Castle. I think my dad always bought it, and so I was kind of stuck eating it when I was sober. but I've never. But yeah,
That's
I've never actually had crystals sober. So,
well, I'll tell you something that's really funny, Kirk, and I know this is going to be hard to digest, but we don't have crystals or White Castles in California.
They don't have either one in North Carolina here.
They don't. And what? But you do have. Do you have a Waffle House?
Oh, we do. And,
yeah.
The counterpart to that one is we could get another thing going tonight. Is either Huddle House or Waffle House.
Yeah, that's a good one. But we don't have either in California. No Waffle House.
Well, you have I think they call it Jack in the Box, but I heard a lot of people call it Crack in the Box.
Yeah, trust me, it's garbage. There's, I mean, we hit there once in a while, but you really got to be hungry. No, there's something about Crystals and White Castle and Waffle House that, I mean, it's good. No, Jack in the Box. No. Jack in the Box is no different than like, it's not even a good Hardee's. You have Hardee's out there, right?
Yeah, but I hardly even go there. I've actually been trying to get off of fast food for a while.
Right.
Ever since I started listening to David Wilcock, I've been trying to, just eat healthier. And actually, for the very first time the other day, I would say it was a pretty successful meditation experience where every time this has ever happened to, it's like I start to see the colors, and then in my head I'm like, oh my God, it's happening, and then it's gone. So the other day was actually the very first time where I probably went, I don't know what the time was, 10 or 15 minutes, where it's kind of off in La La Land. And
Wilcock lives
where I couldn't
Wilcock lives down.
Save myself out of it.
Wilcock lives down the street, right? And I know one of these days, and he's a good friend, man. I'm not saying anything bad, but one of these days, I'm going to catch him at a Burger King drive-thru. I know it. I'm going to go, dude, what are you doing here? Oh, man. You're absolutely right about all of that. I know, our fast food intake is limited to In-N-Out Burger, and that's as far as we go. It has to be something really extreme and an emergency for us to do that. But we love to eat, and that's why I like, I miss Perkins restaurants, and I miss all of that stuff that goes on in the Midwest. We don't have those kinds of restaurants out here, and I know it sounds strange. We just don't. And when I have visitors that come in from out of state and they drive around, and the lack of chain restaurants or restaurants like that, they don't exist out here. They just don't exist. There's a few that do, but it's really funny. They just don't exist. We have what's the Italian place?
Maggiano's, Carrabba's.
Carrabba's. We have one of those. One in the valley. But those things are just rare. As a matter of fact, I can't even think of them. It's so rare to find. TGIFs, there's a couple. It's strange. Hey, Kurt, this is what I want you to do. Yeah. First-time caller. Write Rita right now. Go to the website. Go to the contact page. I've got your phone number right in front of me. Send us your T-shirt size, your address, and we'll put a T-shirt in the mail to you, man. Thank you for calling.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's a first-time caller. This is Fade to Black. Taking a break. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. When I come back, we'll be taking more of your calls. It's Thursday night. It's Fader Night. 323-825-5045. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Not being able to fall asleep is so frustrating. The tossing, the turning, the adjustment of pillows and blankets. Eventually you just decide to get up and start your day really early. It doesn't have to be this way though. Power Sleep is an all-natural non-prescription formula that will help you sleep like a baby. It contains neurotransmitter nutrients that promote the production of serotonin, which is responsible for feelings of well-being. Power Sleep is easy to digest and absorb and is made in a base of active probiotics. Don't miss another night of sleep. Order your Power Sleep at energywave.com or call 800-TURTLE-5. Add Power Vites to your cart while you're browsing. Perfect for Monday mornings. They're a complete multivitamin and mineral formula that will give you the energy you need to get through your day. Nourish your immune system and feel great. Get all the info and place your order at energywave.com. Enter code word SLEEP to get free shipping. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's all here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With the mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your oh so humble host, Jimmy Church. It's open lines tonight, 323-825-5045. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. And there you go. I want to jump over really quick. Michelle on Twitter says, what got Jimmy into UFOs, the paranormal, conspiracy theories, etc.? Did you have a crazy experience? Just curious. I'll get to that in a second. But sometimes the person who deserves to win the lottery actually does. And sometimes she wins it twice. Gina Short, who was diagnosed with breast cancer 6 years ago and is still undergoing chemotherapy today, had a feeling she was going to get lucky. So she had her husband, Len, pick up an all-or-nothing ticket at Publix Grocery in Cornelius, North Carolina. The couple won $250,000 in last week's drawing. No joke. But that's all for me, that's a reason to celebrate, right? But here's something even better. Just 3 months earlier, the couple won $1 million in the Ultimate Millions second chance drawing. Gina Short. Man, if that isn't the feel-good story of the night, I've done my good deed. Congratulations, Gina. You deserve every penny of it. Now go spend some. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
My humble host, this is Josh.
from Texas.
Hey, Josh, how are you tonight?
Doing all right, man. Cracker Barrel. You gotta get a Cracker Barrel. I experienced my first In-N-Out. Over in Dallas. It's been 6 months ago. Pretty good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's a good burger.
I like it better than McDonald's, man.
Oh, there's no comparison. Yeah, right. Do you guys have Waffle House in Texas?
Do we have what?
Waffle House. You have Waffle House in Texas?
Oh, yeah. Waffle House. Waffle House, yes. We have that. A lot of that chain food stuff, KFC, Taco Bell, Restaurant Row is, fast food chains, a lot of places. So yeah. But White Castle, I haven't across one. And so that's I see what I'm pulling in. Because I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah, man, you got to check out the White Castle, Josh. And I'm losing you on your cell phone, though, brother. It's fading in and out.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, man.
I was going to tell you a spooky story, man.
Oh, okay. Well, give it your best shot. Go ahead.
All right, I'm going to go in here because I'm out in the country. I'm out in East Texas this week. And is it any better?
It's better if you can do it real quickly. I've got like 10 calls lined up here. So
sure. All right, where I'm living at in Granbury, Texas. It's about 30 miles from Stephenville, and in between, out there in the middle of nothing, my son, one of my sons is a machinist, and he goes, they said, "Yeah, they're hiring out there, and there's these." 2 blue buildings out there, and they go out there. Turns out they're building these drones out there, and these things are stealth.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
I'm saying I see them fly out of the back pasture and stuff like that, and they're not there. Then they appear. And I think it has to do something with a prism.
Really? So you can actually see the stealths appear and disappear. Can you hear them?
Right.
Can you hear them?
No sound. And I've seen different types. A lot of them are the same, but there's one in particular. It kind of looked like a rod.
Wow.
It blew me away, man. I had to run in the house and say, "Come on outside and tell me I'm not going crazy."
Yeah,
and,
right.
And it was daytime, about 5 o'clock. Yeah, and
man, you need to get your.
I was in Steveville when that all went down out there with the UFOs back in what was it, 2008?
Yeah,
and that's another story, but. But anyway, I know you got guests and stuff like that, man.
You need to, Josh, you need to take some pictures of those drones, man. I would love to see them.
I'm going to try to do that, get that done, maybe video it. And it's mind-blowing. I got to tell you, man, it is absolutely, you won't believe it. I've never seen anything like that. And I'll do that.
Hey, Josh, do it and go have some White Castle. I'll talk to you.
I will. All right, brother.
Thank you so much, Josh. What's up, Dino?
Hey, no White Castle hamburgers. They're bad. Cholesterol. Thank you very much, Jimmy and Rita, for the invite to the expo. I just wanted to tell you that in springtime we do have cool evenings, but it was pretty warm a couple of days there. The other thing I wanted to mention was, that expo used to be right in the city, but I had talked to Kenny because I used to work for him briefly years ago, and there are just no venues left. San Francisco has gotten so crowded.
Yeah, it's
and the
gentrified.
Moscone Center
yeah.
is so booked up, he told me there's nothing big enough to hold that. Actually, if you can believe it, Jimmy, there used to be even more vendors, on the floor. And I think anybody who lives between Santa Cruz and Santa Rosa there are so many of these events and fairs and vendors that they're kind of used to it. But I've learned a lot of things through the years when I've gone to some of these shows, even though, between you and me, some of it is New Age snake oil to me, but some of it is good. You have to pick out the gems.
Oh, it's such a fun place, and there's nothing wrong. The venue, see, this is what I like about where Ken has it now there in San Mateo. It's very kitschy. It's got a whole 1960s retro vibe going on. Nice town, San Mateo, right in the middle of Silicon Valley, and the people are really cool. So the venue itself, he could expand it there. There's places to expand. It could be bigger, but it's a huge event as it stands on its own. I mean, it's pretty gnarly. It's pretty massive. And that parking lot out there, when you see that thing fill up, I mean, that's a big parking lot, man. That is no joke. And I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. But anyway, I like that. I like that venue. I like the venue, and I like the people there. And one of the guys that we worked with all weekend, and I didn't get a picture with him, and Rita told me to about 10 times, and we were just working and didn't get around to it, was Michael, who ran the room for me there, and he was just great.
Guy. He's been there for many years as a
great guy. Great guy.
I used to be a room monitor years ago, 10 years ago for Kenny. But if you like that venue, I'm on a budget, so I didn't go to the parking lot. You go a few blocks across the train track, you can park for free. But it's a little harder to get there. I saw some of the people I've seen there through the years, but it used to be held at one point for many years in an old train station south of Market in the city.
Right.
And they could roll back part of the roof to bring the air and sun in, and that was a cool venue, I thought.
Yeah.
Well,
I've heard about it.
I don't want to take too much time, but I wanted to bring up a couple of things because I'm just sorry. I came straight from work on Friday and I was tired. I couldn't stay late to hang with you guys, and then Saturday I had to bring my friend home. I am so sorry that I missed the pit party there. I really wanted to hang with you guys, so I really felt badly that I missed that. I would have loved to slowed Laura Eisenhower down a little bit.
Yep. That was an
but
amazing
I wanted to
night.
mention a couple of things for the listeners, for the Fadernaughts and all, that I had never live seen Dr. Stephen Greer, and that Friday night lecture, you're right, he was much more of a human. He doesn't seem like, some people think he's phony and all. And he was so nice to me. Afterwards, people went outside, and I was shocked at how open he was to talk to people. And he saw me over the heads of about a dozen people and smiled at me. So I came in, and he wants to put on this big event. He still believes disclosure could happen and free energy could be released, but his whistleblowers won't come out unless everybody comes out at once, so there's no consequences of a negative kind. And the man gave me his personal business card. I was shocked about that, but that's how accessible he is.
Oh, right on. Yeah,
and
that was
I
both.
told him that I knew some folks, like the one guy there, because we had put on 40th anniversary of Summer of Love and 40th anniversary of Woodstock, and getting ready to do the 50th anniversary in 2017, and had mentioned, I had mentioned to him, if you want celebrities, Neil Young, I'm sure, would do it. Willie Nelson. He goes, oh yeah, I'd love to have Willie Nelson, because if we made it musical and with celebrities, he said he was in touch with, I guess I don't want to talk about what he talks about, I'll let him say it, but with celebrities that want to come out and are interested in these subject matters of the things in which he speaks. So that was exciting to hear. And I want everybody to know, even though I have strong disagreement with the personality and some of the theories of Mr. Barra, you'll testify that I shook hands with him and I was a gentleman, and I even went to his lecture on Sunday, and it wasn't a bad lecture about Mars. I will say that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Mike knows what he's talking about. So
well, not about 9/11, but some other subjects, I will give him props for that.
All right.
And so anyhow, that was exciting, and I missed a couple of people, and I hope that you made some more contacts, you and Rita, to bring like the Indian, Hopi Indian Clifford, I'm forgetting his name again.
Right.
I hope he can come on the show just to call in, and I'm hoping, what's the other man's name with the hair, the physicist that was outside?
Nassim Haramein.
Yeah, an hour after his lecture, still talking to people. Amazing how accessible these speakers were. And I think they felt the good vibe, too. So I'm happy I went. I'm real sorry. I keep kicking myself, but I had to bring my friend Gail home back to the city. She doesn't drive. So I missed you guys, and I would have loved to have been there, and I would have stayed later. But, you know.
Well, you know what I wanted to say about Clifford Mafudi? He was a rock star. You know, walking around and the way that he spoke to people and his aura that was around him was just incredible. But he was holding camp all over the place, and he just would just sit and start talking to people, and it was really cool hanging out with Clifford all weekend. And
well, can you get him on the show?
Sure.
Come on?
I think Rita's in contact with him. So.
Oh, okay, good, because that's a good thing. And for folks that want to go sometime, even if you go one day, check out some of the vendors. I mean, even though it was beyond my budget because I'm going to get laid off here in a month, I'm sitting here tonight listening to you in my hemp pants that I bought at the hemp booth there, and they're so comfortable.
Did you get the
way to go with clothing?
Did you get the
more
hemp?
People that buy it, the price will come down.
Did you get the hemp underwear too?
No, I didn't get those. I still wear the woolen underwear because I have to suffer, for my cause.
Too much information,
and the wool shirt. But no, I have several hemp articles, and they give out free hemp lip balm, which is the best.
Yeah.
So, I'm ready for the initiative. Just qualified, we believe, for the ballot for marijuana free in California for open marijuana use. So hopefully, when that passes, the price of hemp clothing will go down.
Can you smoke the hemp lip balm?
No, that's the oldest joke ever. It's a matter of fact. This is an interesting fact, Jimmy. I've bought hemp clothing in the past, and do you know they're not even allowed to grow hemp for clothing, which is stoning. They have to buy their hemp from, I think, Romania or South Africa, or they have to import the hemp, which is why the hemp clothing so expensive. And yet, if you go to San Francisco back 150 years ago, everything was hemp, including the ropes on the sailing ships. And it was only in the 30s when the government agencies said, "Oh, we're going to make it an opiate," and it's not an opiate. Hemp is an herb, but they threw it in there with heroin and all the other controlled substance drugs, and so they could arrest people and put them in jail. And it's time that stopped.
Did you do your morning bong hit this morning?
You know what? I'll be honest with you, and I'll testify here on the air. The cops can come up to my house. They won't find any herb in my house, but I do know people who grow it, and I do know people that have cards. I'm not a big smoker because I had asthma when I was a kid. I don't like smoking at all, but you look,
Dino.
Party, I will take a brownie.
Dino, you look like a pothead.
I don't look like a pothead. You're just not up with the times. If you had lived around the way I lived, you'd see lots of people that look like me. I just refuse to wear my hair short.
Well, if I needed to buy some weed and I was looking around the crowd, it'd be you that I would walk up to first.
Are you serious? No,
all right, Dino.
I'm a fine, upstanding member of my community. I don't look anything like a drug dealer.
All right, Dino. Hey, you have a good night, man. It was great hanging out with you this weekend.
And we're waiting for John Lear to come back. That was a shame yesterday. And I just wanted to tell you that other Internet programs, I looked around, and they were having problems with the Internet yesterday, too. So maybe it was a solar flare and not one of the alphabet agencies.
Could be, but it was definitely real, whatever the interference
Do you know when
was.
he's coming back for sure?
Yeah, next week, man. We got him. Don't you worry,
wonderful,
Dino.
Because we want to hear the man. Thank you so much for all you do. Good night.
And thank you, Dino. All right, Dino hanging out. Oh, with where's Skater Lisa? Lisa tore it up with this all weekend, too, as well. There was, I need to share this with everybody because most of the country absolutely knew nothing about this next story that was starting to resolve today. But also here in Los Angeles, unfortunately, we didn't know much about this. And today, a Los Angeles jury has convicted 63-year-old man in this trial that was called the Grim Sleeper. He was a serial killer who prosecutors said raped his victims before shooting or strangling them and dumping their bodies. His name is Lonnie Franklin Jr. He was charged with 10 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder in the deaths of 9 women and a 15-year-old girl over more than 2 decades. Now, the first killing in the court case occurred in 1985, followed by 6 more through 1988. The remaining victims were killed in 2002, 2003, and 2007. And this is according to a 2011 grand jury indictment of Franklin. The gap between the killings prompted his nickname, which was the Grim Sleeper, right? But there's more to it. He was arrested in 2010 after a DNA search of an inmate database led to a partial match for his son, a DNA match. So the Los Angeles Police Department investigators with the Special Task Force then followed the elder Franklin until he tossed out his trash after eating pizza. Now, that pizza crust is what got him. And then he was arrested at his home in South L.A., right downtown. And he has been held without bail since. Police went through his house, found photos of more than 100 women in his home. Some, a bunch of them, still remain unidentified. Now, this is the crazy part about the case. He was caught in 2010. The first killing that he was convicted of was 1985. And because it was South Central L.A., and the police I'm just going to say this out loud, didn't care. Didn't care about who was getting killed. It didn't matter. There was just never really an investigation, and it was just brushed aside. And this guy went nuts for a long time. There were a few courageous journalists over the years that covered this story and tried to get the LAPD to investigate, and they just didn't do it. And he was just caught by chance in 2010. All of these killings were right around his house. And people in his neighborhood were suspecting him and knew. And there were the one victim that got away, right, who testified against him. She got shot. She was shot by him in the car. He pushed her body out of the car, thought she was dead, not before taking pictures of her. She said that after he shot her, he got on top of her, took out a camera, and started taking pictures of her. She was shot in the chest. She passes out. But that was the last thing that she saw, was him taking pictures of her. She knew who he was. She knew his car. She went to the police. They did nothing. Then, after they searched his house in 2010, they found the pictures of her that she told the police about and identified him that were hidden in a wall. Now, how crazy is that? And it's just because it was the neighborhood. I'll say it right now. The LAPD is messed up. And I know that they've got stuff that they're dealing with and whatever. But you know what? This was a serial killer who might have killed dozens, if more, that we just don't know about, never found their bodies. But he's got the evidence and he's got the photographs. It's a crazy case. His neighbors, his friends, there were guys that were in on the photographing of these women together with him. And they all knew it. His family knew. His family knew that he had these collections of photographs and things. And he was married to a woman that was part of the church there. And it was just like, that's crazy Lonnie. Convicted today. Crazy case. And here in Los Angeles, we knew that it was going on. And like I said, there was a couple of courageous reporters that were reporting on it, but the LAPD, they just didn't want to do anything about it. A man who went into multiple Michigan grocery stores and sprayed a poisonous mixture on open food is in custody. Yeah, according to the FBI, about 15 stores, including Whole Foods, a Kroger, that were in Ann Arbor, Flint, Midland, Birch Run, and Saline, may have been targeted. This is according to the Washington County Public Health Department. The suspect admitted to spraying a potentially hazardous material, and it was a liquid combination of water, hand cleaner, and mice poison on produce in 3 stores within the past 2 weeks. They haven't released his name yet. And apparently, the mixture, although poisonous, wasn't lethal. Well, Donald Trump, before we head into the break, I got to get this in. Donald Trump has been playing Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones at his rallies. I have heard it, and I thought to myself, dude, you can't do that, man. Mick and the boys, they're not into this. But he kept doing it. I thought, wow, I guess he's got some kind of, release. Are they really endorsing Trump? Because nothing says the Donald Trump for president like the Rolling Stones, right? That's a pretty big endorsement. Trump also used, you can't always get what you want. Well, in a statement yesterday, the Stones said that they have not given any permission to the Trump campaign to use their songs and have requested that they cease all use immediately, just in time at the end of the campaign. They didn't say anything before. They said it at the end. I like Mick. I like the Stones, Keith, the boys, Charlie Watts. But it's kind of weird. You can't say it at the end. You got to say it at the beginning. All right. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. It's Thursday night. It's Fader night. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Do follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. And email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Man, I hate doing this live on the air, man. I'm such a tard. Okay. All right. I'll be back right after this short break. 323-825-5045. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal God on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
If your home has hard water and it's leaving white spots, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes. Limescale can cost hundreds of dollars a year in wasted energy and early appliance breakdown. HydroCare systems available at Wave Home Solutions prevent and remove limescale with just a simple filter change every 3 years. There are no salts, chemicals, or magnetic coils. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, just go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
If you're a talk radio fan, AccessRadio.net lets you listen to the best talk shows anytime and from anywhere. Works on your mobile or landline phone, and there's no cost if you have unlimited minutes. No need to use your data. Find your favorite talk show listen lines and discover new ones. Now you can listen on your schedule. Go to AccessRadio.net. That's AccessRadio.net. Save your favorite listen lines today.
Hi, I'm Richard Dolan. When I'm not hosting my radio program, The Richard Dolan Show on KGRA, or writing new books on UFOs, I run a publishing company. I'm proud to say that Richard Dolan Press has published some of the most fascinating books available on UFOs and related subjects. They include Dr. Bruce Maccabee's classic analysis of the UFO cover-up, David Marler's breakthrough book on triangular UFOs, Dr. Richard Sauter's unique work on underground bases, and other classics by Grant Cameron, Chase Kletsky, and Dr. Bob Wood, not to mention intriguing works by Eve Lorgan and Laurie MacDonald that deal with truly bizarre phenomena. I'm proud to publish such high-quality and original works, and there are several amazing books about to be released over the next few months. Go to richarddolanpress.com to learn more.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'm your so humble host, Jimmy Church. It is Thursday night. It's Fader Night, 323-825-5045. All right. KFC restaurants, Kentucky Fried Chicken, in Hong Kong have brought the franchise's classic slogan, finger licking good, to life. That's right. By offering edible nail polish. It tastes like chicken. Yeah. The new product line comes in two flavors. Beige, which is the original recipe, and orange, which is hot and spicy. The flavors are sourced from natural ingredients, and according to Kentucky Fried Chicken, in their press release, I'm not making this up, people. I'm not. And this is, they say, the recipe for our edible nail polish is unique and was specifically designed to hold the flavor, but to also dry with a glossy coat. Oh, my goodness. Similar to normal nail polish. And that is directly from Kentucky Fried Chicken. Where has the world gone? You know, and if you're a woman, now I'm serious, as a man looking at women, the last thing we would want to see is a woman eating her nail polish right off of her fingertips. Man, this is good. Man, this is just so good. It would freak everybody out. Think about it. I'm not so sure, but there's a marketing push behind this. There were focus groups going on, tasting this nail polish. Yeah, I like this one. This one's pretty good, too. I like this recipe. This one's pretty good. What about the color? It's got to be an edible color, right? Beige? Oh, Lord. Yeah. All right. Where am I? Oh, I wanted to get to Michelle. By the way, the lines are open. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Michelle says, what got Jimmy into UFOs, the paranormal, conspiracy theories, etc.? Did you have a crazy experience? Now, no, I had my mom, and everybody knows that. But I took a break and thinking about Michelle's statement here, because I've said things over the years, what's gotten me into this, and we all know that. But I wanted to go one step deeper. I'll tell you what really freaked me out. All right. It was the photographs of the Nazca lines when I was a kid, because it didn't make sense to me. And back in I've got to go 1971 on this, with our black and white television back then. But Eric Von Daniken had filmed the Nazca lines with a plane, right? And he's flying over. And those were shown on TV, right? The movie had come out. I went to go see the movie. But before that, there were, I forget the name of I think they did a TV special, too, as well. But anyway, the shots of the plane flying around Nazca, and then, of course, the shots of the Nazca lines themselves and those images are what stuck with me. It just didn't make any sense because they were so big. And at that time, 1971, I would have been 8 years old. 8. And I was old enough to, and especially in 1971, 1972, 1971, there were a couple of TV shows that were playing. One of them was UFO, the Andersons thing out of the UK, and Space 1999. And so I was watching those TV shows with my best friend across the street, John DeBrava, in Chicago. And I was fully into the space program at that point. Apollo was happening, and the space program, and the astronauts, and the X-15, that plane, and things that were going on at that time. That the Nazca, I was old enough and starting to develop my thoughts through all of this, that Nazca didn't make any sense. And I fully, and still do, bought into everything that Von Daniken was saying. I had the book, there was the television stuff, and then the stuff going on in the theaters with Chariots of the Gods. And it moved me. I didn't have, at that point, a UFO experience at that age. But I did have Von Daniken, and I had those two TV series, and also The Invaders. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey there. How's it going, Jimmy?
It's going good. Who's calling?
This is DJ Ray Train.
Hey, DJ. What are you doing, brother?
What's going on, man? I'm doing all right.
It's good to hear your voice, man. It's good to hear your voice. We got to hang out with DJ at the Conscious Life Expo, and it was great seeing you there. It was pretty cool, man.
Oh, yeah. I like kicking it with dope people.
And there was a lot of them, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah. It was unbelievable. Mind-blowing, I swear.
Yeah, it was so cool. DJ came up to Rita and I at one of the events before we got started. He comes up and he goes, "Hey, man, it's me, DJ Ray Train." I was like, "Rita, come over here." It's DJ. And it was so cool hanging out with you. It was that was a very special moment. And you know what was cool about that, DJ? And I want you to confirm. It was a big room, all those but it was empty. It was just you and Rita and myself for a bit, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely was. That was really cool.
How'd you sneak in, man? How'd you get past security? What'd you do?
What security? There's no security. If I would have known there was not going to be so much security, I would have took my wand and crystal ball.
Yeah, right? Well, now you just said that to the whole audience. Now the secret's out. Thanks, DJ.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So what's going on tonight, man? What's on your mind?
I'm just, tripping out on all of these things that are going on in the show. There's so much synchronicity going on. Good evening to the Fadernauts, whoever's listening and stuff. But, I tapped into that Alice, what he was talking about the Jesus stuff. That was really interesting. But what threw me off was the Freeman and how he was saying so many, very, relative things that goes on in my mind, all day.
Such as?
Using magic and music to get messages across, or, if he would, I'm not sure if he specifically said casting spells or anything like that against, the Illuminati and the Cabal and stuff like that.
Right.
That stuff just makes too much sense to me, and that's what I was working toward before when I was kind of alone. I thought I was the only one working for, some kind of extraterrestrial disclosure and stuff, until 2013 when I found David Wilcock's wisdom teachings, and that's when I started, he just kind of let me know there's other people who are doing this stuff, and that just blew my mind, and I was hooked. Since then,
yes,
but I really would like to get active about these things and incorporate people too, because I suppose the more the merrier. It'd be great, of course. I have theories and things that I would like to, put into action and stuff.
Well, you know what you should do, DJ? You should write for us over on Fade to Blog.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good, because so many people go there and depend on that information, and there's so much of it there. You should think about, because you're so well spoken. If you can get what's going on in your brain and get that onto Fade to Blog, oh man, just think about what you could do. You could really help spread the word.
Yeah, you know what? That sounds pretty interesting, but a lot of this stuff I didn't want to publicize so much because, there could be spies and espionage going on and stuff. So that's why I kind of mentioned talking about things behind closed doors. But also when you're in discussion, it's a lot of the time it goes further than, writing to each other and sending messages because, I don't know, it's the vibrational frequency of voices and stuff, and communication that'll trigger certain things in the brain, and different people will react different ways, but they can have their contribution if their reaction is beneficial enough.
Well, and you know what though, and you're right, you're spot on, but also it's the combination of the two, or three. You know what I mean? And so you do, you get your thoughts out on the blog. You attract those like minds to you, one. And two, when you finally get out to Contact in the Desert or some of these other events, and we get all the Fadernauts together and we sit down and we start having those conversations that we do at every event, that we do. Then you start to,
sounds amazing,
right? And so it's you just combine them all and make it multimedia, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. It's a thing about the building momentum through the conversation. I suppose I could probably do that Fade to Blog, but I was already doing Twitter kind of in a way.
Sure.
I'll look into it, definitely. I got to go check out what's going on there in the blog and see how what kind of information is going on, so I'm not, just repeating stuff.
Yeah, and Fade to Blog, go check it out. And you know what? Once you get started on Fade to Blog, that's an addiction, man. That is. You better get ready. And I could see you. Getting your thoughts out. And I'll say this to everybody: when I met DJ. And I looked straight into his eyes and into his face. He's a serious cat, man. And I think that's what you need to do. I think you need to you need to start reaching out to people. Do it on Fade to Blog.
Yeah, sounds good. I did, I reach out once in a while. I'm just, it's like, if you reach out a lot, it's like, am I trying to start an army or something? Or people get suspicious and think I'm trying to start a cult of some sort, because I represent Satan and stuff, and they get fearful still. Some people who don't do enough research and spiritual development of their own.
Right. Yeah, screw them. Okay? Because, hey, man, if I listened to all of that, I wouldn't be doing this show. Always remember that.
Yep.
Always.
Yep, exactly.
Hey, DJ, what was your favorite night What was your favorite night this week? Wow, it was Freeman, wasn't it?
Night. Oh, man, I guess I gotta say Freeman, because I never heard about what he had going on, but that what he was saying was very interesting, and I like the Jesus information, but I never really chased that too much at all.
Well, you see, the thing is with Ralph Ellis, it's an alternative to Jesus, and certainly tying in King Arthur with that, and Jesus of Edessa, and then moving the dates from AD 30 to AD 70, and taking the entire element out of what we have been taught through the Bible and others, for 2,000 years now. That's a pretty interesting alternative history, and to look at it, because Ellis doesn't base his stuff on daydreams. He's not basing it on fiction and wild thought. He's basing it on fact and historical record. And that is what is intriguing about Ellis and who Jesus really was. It's pretty interesting. I got to tell you, man, he really has opened up a lot of people's eyes over this last month here on the show. And it's guys like him that we need. We need more of, we need to clone Ralph Ellis. He's only got so much time in the day to do this research, but man, we need more guys like him, no doubt. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
DJ, you have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you. Thank you so much, brother.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy. I'll talk to you later, man. Everyone have a good night.
You too. DJ Ray Train, everybody. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Well, hi, Jimmy.
Hi. Who's this?
This is Bev.
Hey, Bev. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing real good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hi. Everything good? Family's good? How's Bob?
Pardon me?
How's Bob?
Oh, Bob? And he's okay, I guess. No.
Wow. Just threw Bob under the bus, Bev.
Oh, he's doing really good.
So what's on your mind?
Well, when you were talking about that guy doing that killing spree,
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand how people, can do that. They can't have a soul to begin with. They can't have any empathy.
Yeah, he's one of the strangest cases. I mean, there isn't a serial killer that's not strange, but he did this for a long, long, long time unchecked. If you think about what 1985 to 2010, that's 25 years he ran free doing this.
Yeah.
That's a pretty hard pill to swallow, to think that the LAPD, who knew something was going on, they just didn't care.
Exactly.
And this guy lived in a house with his family. I know, I'm telling you right now, his wife knew, his son knew, the neighbors knew. They knew that the man wasn't doing anything about it. A girl was shot, left for dead. She goes to the police, tells them everything, right? They know his car. They know who it, and nothing happened.
I don't understand that. I mean, why? Why did they not do anything?
It's South Central L.A. Who cares about South Central? That's the way the LAPD looks at it. And they and the police down there, and it's a little bit different today. It is. It's a lot better. But back then in '85, they just let the police just didn't go in there. You know, they let them fend for themselves, and it's wrong. It is so wrong, but that is what was going on. You know,
was it because of gang activity
that was a big,
or what?
Sure. You know, and well, look at, you know, the way that the LAPD's mentality was, especially back then, is you know, that's what the tax dollars weren't coming out of there. You know, it's just the way that they looked at it. You know, who cared about South Central? You know, and that area. And it's sad, and it's the way that it is. It's completely wrong. And to allow this to go on for years, and they knew they had a serial killer. They knew it. They weren't investigating anything. Now, I'm telling you right now, you know, you have not 10, but have 2 white women killed in Beverly Hills. They're going to turn that town over, right? That's it. They're going to have, a couple of dozen detectives on the case. Right?
Oh, yeah, big time.
But not in South Central. You know, that's it. That they didn't care, and they just allowed this to go on. They knew. Trust me, Bev. And I'm very angry about this. I was angry about it back then. For them not to have any leads, not to have, you know, everybody was pointing fingers at this guy, and they had a victim. You know, it's just sad. You know, and now they act like it's, you know, some big victory. Well, I'm glad that the guy's going, you know, to prison for the rest of his life and death row and whatever. And there's some closure for the victims here. But really, it was just handled the wrong way. They had a serial killer there for 25 years running his own program.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. So... Thank you so much, Bev.
And I have to tell you.
What's up?
I am a very proud great aunt.
No.
My great nephew, 22 years old, got sworn into the Army today.
Shut up. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He leaves in 10 days.
Oh, man. You know, Rita and I are not grandparents yet. And then you tag on great onto the end of that. You know,
that he's already older than I already feel.
No, the point is, it's such a great place to be in life, you know, to be able to say that. With our 2 daughters, no, you know, they can hang on for a couple of more years. We don't need to be grandparents yet. But when you tag great on the end of it, You lived a wonderful life. That's just amazing.
I've got great nieces and nephews.
Oh man, we're the same age, Bev. Don't freak me out.
I'm 50. I'll be 58 in June.
See, you only got 6 years on me. All right.
Well,
and you've got
my younger sister started when she was 15.
Yeah. See, you know, we got started late in life over here, but. Yeah, that's just amazing to me to be able to say great. I mean, that is just, you know.
I never thought I never thought I would live the day to hear myself great niece, let alone great.
I know. You have a great, wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you so much, Bev.
Well, I love you guys.
Love you right back.
Bye-bye, Jimmy.
Bye. Now, one of the things I wanted to save until tonight was that we had Nancy's birthday party over the weekend up at the New Living Expo. And I got to tell you, well, it wasn't a birthday party. I think we had 3 days in a row. We had 3 birthdays for Nancy. Nancy got showed the love. Not only did we have an amazing dinner on Friday night with Skater Lisa and Dave Cruz and Mike Barra and Rita and myself, but we had a great dinner completely. Where's Dave Cruz? Is Dave Cruz in the house tonight? by the way? I don't see Dave. Dave, Okay, so anyway, so we did that. And then Saturday night, they had a bakery at the hotel there. And so we stocked up. Rita personally selected a whole box full of pastries for the table. Then we had a little mini cake with candles, and we did that at what time did we do that, Rita? 2 o'clock in the morning? And so we had an entire, that party was like 6 hours long, and that was amazing. And then on Sunday, we went out for one final birthday dinner at a really cool Italian restaurant right there, the three of us. And I just wanted to say happy birthday, Nancy. That was an amazing weekend with you, baby sister. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Ward from Fort Myers.
This is who?
Ward from Fort.
Hey, Ward, how are you? You're breaking up, Ward.
Okay, you there? You got me now?
I got you. What's cracking?
Okay. Hey, I've been in and out of your show tonight. I've been busy, but hey, who is this serial killer you were talking about? What was his name?
His name is his name was the Grim Reaper, but his name is Lonnie Franklin Jr.
Okay, I got to look into that. But yeah, I heard you before talking about White Castle, and I'm a Jersey boy, so. My God, I mean, we used to go out all night long to the bars, come in at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. That was the thing that was open 24 hours a day, man.
Yeah, it
was the greatest.
I don't even know. Where was White Castle? Where was it from? Was it from New York? I keep thinking it was from
I think it's
Chicago.
Jersey, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I like that movie, Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. They go to New Brunswick, New Jersey, where I'm from. That's where they go for that White Castle. I'm pretty sure it was from Jersey.
Okay, let's see here. History. White Castle was founded in, are you ready? Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah, it seems like such a northeast kind of thing. You know?
Yep. And then building number 8 was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And there you go. That was 1936, but it was founded in 1921, Wichita, Kansas. Original location was in the northwest corner of First and Main. There you go.
Man, I would never have guessed that in a million years.
Me neither.
I wasn't on Jeopardy for that one,
Yeah, I would have thought. I was feeling... so it says here, Columbus, Ohio, the expansion.
Yeah, Ohio, yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. And, of course, Indiana and Chicago. Let's see here. And then expansion, Chicago, Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio, Dayton, Detroit, Indianapolis, Las Vegas, Louisville, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Nashville, New York, New Jersey, St. Louis. There you go. Wichita, Kansas. Who knew? I did not know.
Yeah, down here, Fort Myers, Florida, they don't have anything like that. The only place you can get White Castle's in the freezer section.
Man, I'm looking at it.
And their pizza sucks down here too.
Well, unless you're in Chicago or Indianapolis, pizza's gonna suck. But I'm looking at. I'm gonna post this on Twitter right here. This is a classic picture of White Castle, and man, that's exactly what they look like. And
they look like the White Castle. There's a White Castle. I mean, a run-down White Castle, but it looks like a White Castle.
Well, and you know what, Ward, we are up against a break in 15 seconds. And
all right, man. Hey, have a great night, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ward.
All right, good night.
Have a great night. Man, I almost talking about White Castle, and I almost blew the break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I just posted a picture of White Castle. Look how tiny that is in between the index and the thumb and that skinny little piece of bologna. Love White Castle. This is Fade to Black. Your call's next. 323-825-5045. Stay right there.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Angioprim can clean blocked arteries and improve blood flow in all parts of your body. Angioprim is liquid oral chelation. It's not new science. 50 years of research has gone into chelation, and now there's Angioprim. Easy, simple, liquid oral chelation. You take it with juice before breakfast and forget about it. Angioprim works fast, unlike old-fashioned chelation that takes hours. The first thing Angioprim users say is they have more energy, more strength, more endurance. Increased circulation and blood flow will make all your body parts work better. Log on now at angioprim.com to get more information on how you can get started and start feeling better and doing more. Lots more. Talk to a trained Angioprim consultant or go to angioprim.com for help. Call Angioprim toll-free at 877-882-7221. That's Angioprim at 877-882-7221. Get the facts about Angioprim. Begin living the life you want, doing the things you used to do again with Angioprim.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRDWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back to Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. It's Fader Night. 323-825-5045. If you're on hold, stay right there. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. Sandbox is out of control tonight. Spreaker's out of control tonight. KGRA's out of control tonight. That's what I'm talking about. Love Thursday nights, man. Love them. But I got to share this with you. Check this out. The first Canadian national public hearing on UFOs is being held in response to an unprecedented amount of sightings across the country. And it hopes to nail the truth about the 1947 Roswell UFO mystery once and for all. Last year alone, there was a record 1,267 incidents reported across Canada. Right? Talked about it a lot on this show. The event will be on Saturday, June 25th in Brantford, Ontario. It's there to address and investigate this modern-day enigma. A Canadian research and development team has been set up to organize the historic event, led by Paul Hellyer. That's right, the former Deputy Prime Minister of Canada and the Minister of Defense, who is also a member of the Queen's Privy Council. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You're live.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Eric, the realtor from LA.
Hey, Eric. Hey, Eric, I want to, after you called in last night, which was a first-time call, did Steve Murillo introduce me to you like 2 years ago?
No, I don't think so. I've never met him. I'd love to meet the guy, though.
Then, because I remember you looking like Dwayne Johnson.
No, no, not near as tall. No.
Okay. All right. I thought, last night after you hung, I was like, man, I think Murillo introduced me to him. But okay, moving on, Eric. How you doing?
Good, brother. Me and Cheese just eating some tacos, Cinco de Mayo.
It is Cinco de Mayo. Well, after all of this fast food talk tonight, I don't know if we're going to do, I can't. I've got to shoot in the morning, so I can't. I want to go to a taco truck right now so bad, but I got to hit the hay here in about an hour. I'm going to be in bed.
Yeah, it's not going to happen for you tonight.
No, not tonight, and not tomorrow night either. Yeah, it's the way it goes. So, Eric,
not to give this sicko too much time, Jimmy, but I wanted to just chime in on this grim sleeper.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, two things. One, Eric Leonard on KFI. I was listening to the guy today, and he said that, how embarrassing for these cops. He said that he worked at the police department during the time of some of these killings.
Yeah,
he actually worked.
He was a parking
in the garage.
Yeah, he was a parking attendant. Yeah.
And they were getting into their cop cars, driving out the garage every day, driving by this guy and looking for him at the same time.
Crazy.
Can you believe it? Yeah.
Do you remember, since you're from L.A., do you remember when they first started reporting these murders in the 80s? I totally remember them mentioning on the news that they think they have a serial killer in South Central, right? And that was like the end of it. I mean, there was nothing, no police. When everything was going nuts, and I know you remember when the Night Stalker was going crazy, L.A. was on edge, right? And they made that the news. And they should have. And they freaked out the whole city. But here they have another serial killer in South Central, and nobody there was no press conferences. It wasn't front page news. It wasn't there, and it stayed unresolved until 2010. How many bodies do you need to find?
Yeah, and that was the second point I wanted to make. Well, I have two more points I want to make. One is I work Beverly Hills and Culver City, and I can tell you straight up, if even one or two of those crimes had happened in Beverly Hills, you're right, they would have turned that city upside down, created a task force and everything else until they had it solved, and that's a shame. And the other thing is them calling this guy Grim Sleeper. That's just ridiculous. These sickos, they don't stop. They do not stop. If there was not some lull in the killings, I would just bet my left hand on it. And they just weren't able to find stuff, maybe to match his MO. But this sicko was probably killing people and tossing them out of his cars somewhere else.
Do you remember the drive-by shooting in Beverly Hills that happened about 5 years ago?
I do.
Yeah, you remember how that was the first thing covered on the news all day long for weeks, right?
Oh yeah,
solved. But South Central, bodies being found in alleys for years, nobody cared.
It's a real shame.
Yeah, it is.
It's a blemish on them for sure.
I'm not proud of it. It just makes me angry, man. It makes me so angry. I'm glad
that's it for tonight, my brother. I want to wish all the FADERNIGHTs and you and Rita and everybody else, me and Cheesy, want to wish everybody have a good, and like you say, a good, safe weekend.
Thank you so much, Eric.
You bet, brother.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. And let's see. What was that thing in Beverly Hills? I can't remember who it was, but it was something like a publicist She left one of the Beverly Hills parties or after parties or something like that. And then it was a drive-by shooting. Came up and shot her car up, killed her. She crashed into a tree right off of Sunset Boulevard, right in the middle of the flats that they call in Beverly Hills. Very nice homes. But, man, that certainly made the news, right? South Central? No. What's up, Steve?
What's up, Mr. Jimmy Church?
Man. Okay, so what? You called in because we were talking about you tonight? Is that the deal?
Well, I'm always listening. I may not always call in, but I'm always listening. You can bet your sweet tail on that.
How you doing, man?
I just chilling. And you complaining about getting up at what, 6 in the morning?
Yep.
I get up at 5:24 every single morning, and it's already 12:40 something my time.
Yeah, but see, for you, you're getting up because you own a farm, you've got your family, and it's a thing, and it's all good. You get up before the alarm goes off, and you're happy. You're making your coffee. You're having fresh eggs off the farm. I know your life, man. You want to get up in the morning.
Well, it's not always that fun.
You were like, man, Jimmy makes it sounds like it's pretty cool. I didn't know I was that happy.
I can't believe that Rita has never been to a Cracker Barrel.
Nope. Never been to a Cracker Barrel. White Castle, no. Nope. Waffle House, no. Every time that I've head back, when I go back east, that's the first place. My brother's wedding, or when my mom passed, I went back to Florida last year. The hotel I was at there in Florida, in Tampa, across the street, a Waffle House. I walked out. I remember I'm pulling in, get the rental car. And I've got the radar on, right? Just landed. I'm looking for a Waffle House. I went, oh, there's a Waffle House right there. And I went, well, I wonder where my hotel. Oh, the Marriott is across the street. How cool is that? So that's the first thing I do. So Rita gets the pictures of me at Waffle House or White Castle or whatever. But no, she hasn't done it. And she will.
She don't know what she's missing, man. When you said earlier that she hadn't been to the Cracker Barrel, I eat Cracker Barrel at least once a week.
Oh, man.
At least once a week.
I love Cracker Barrel. And it's funny because no matter what you order, the waitress says, you want gravy on that? Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. And she says brown or white.
Oh, man. It's so funny. We have a show about conspiracy, and
we're talking about
we can
food.
We can talk food all night long. You remember that one time about 2 years ago, we talked cereal, breakfast cereal for
cereal, right?
For 3 hours.
Yeah, we talked for a long time. I remember we talked about breakfast cereal.
Oh, man. I couldn't believe
Fruit Loops and Captain Crunch.
Man, okay, don't get me started. So
I tried to put all that cereal stuff down now. I'm trying to eat healthy, so I eat the
so and
straight, like cereal, the straight oatmeal type cereal.
Dude, that stuff will kill you. No, you need breakfast cereal has got to be that stuff that we had, and see, this is the thing. I think just like Mexican Coke, right? It's got cane sugar in it. And now when you walk through, it's pretty funny when you walk through some of the high-end stores now, everything's got cane sugar in it, right? Instead of corn syrup. And it's the trend right now. What if they took breakfast cereals and went back to sugar? Remember Sugar Smacks? Sugar Pops? They called them Sugar Pops. Now they're called Corn Pops. But yeah, everything had sugar in the name. And
remember on Sugar Smacks, the frog?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely, I do. You know, and all of that original stuff, man. The reason why kids were so addicted to it, it was not because of the sugar. Well, yeah, but because it tasted good. You know, I remember my mom. Now, I know if you're over the age of 40, what I'm about to say, everybody knows this is the truth. But I would sit in the shopping cart, right? And my mom would steer the shopping cart. When we went down the cereal aisle, it was on, right? It was on. The cereal aisle was the place to be at the supermarket. And she would push the cart up in the middle of the aisle. She wouldn't swing it left or right because I could reach out and grab something. And my mom would steer that cart right up the center of the aisle, man. And I used to, oh, man. And I know that's why she put me in the cart, because if I was walking, it would be out of control. So she would put me in the cart so I wouldn't, and
it'd be mayhem all in the cereal aisle.
And I know that's
just tearing it down.
Yep, and I know that's why she did it, man, because straight up the center of the aisle. You know, you go up at any other aisle, who cares? You know, the soup aisle, I don't care about that. The pasta aisle, I don't care about pasta. No. But that cereal aisle got steered right up the middle. Hey, did you ever...
he was one of them kids that was been sitting in the buggy, just tore into the cereal box and was just downing it dry.
Did you pick your cereal because of what was in the free insides?
Yes, I always was trying to check out what was free inside.
Right.
You know, especially if there was any kind of compass, you know, or
race
any kind
car,
of camping thing, something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And I had this thing, I don't know what it was, but I had this thing for harmonicas when I was little. And during Halloween, you know, they used to come out in wax harmonicas.
Yep.
That you could, you know, chew, and they were flavored wax.
Yep.
And you can't find that stuff now hardly at all. Every now and again,
you can find it at
find it, but
you can find it at Cracker Barrel. They have all that. They have all that cool stuff at the Cracker Barrel at that store that they have in front.
Oh yes.
But anyway, so did you used to tip the cereal boxes upside down and open it up from the bottom so you can get to the free inside?
Yep.
Man,
I turned it straight upside down and opened it from the wrong end. And my grandmother used to get so mad at me when I do that. Because I would put it back after I'd opened it. I'd put it back right side up. My grandmother had this thing about, you know, all the boxes being straight in the pantry.
Yep. My mom was the same way.
Straight up hardcore, you know, sergeant, you know. Make sure them boxes are straight up, Steve, you know.
My mom used to. My mom had this rule: the last bowl of cereal gets the free insides. Right, that was the rule, and it kind of, we kind of tried to stick to it. But my mom would check it out, man, in the morning, and so this is what she would do: she would go, and if the box was open from the bottom, then she would make us give up the free inside, and it'd go into her purse, you know. So, but sometimes you just couldn't avoid the temptation, man. You had to flip the box over and get it out. And one of the coolest free insides ever was the Wacky Races cars. Remember those?
Yeah.
And so you wanted that whole collection, the Wacky Racers. You remember those? The Wacky Racers. And man, you know. So
some of them used to have some real good tattoos too, that you could put on.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know. Do they do free insides anymore?
I don't. The only thing that has free insides anymore is Cracker Jacks.
Yeah, I don't know if cereals do that anymore. That, you know what? They probably passed a law.
Yeah, they're probably afraid some kid getting choked on something.
Yeah.
You know, because some spazzed out mom forgot to look in the bottom of the box, and she poured the toy inside into the bowl and didn't even bother looking, and filled it full of milk, and some kid choked on it or something.
Yeah,
and
right.
They got sued.
Yeah, man. I still love my cereal, and I've always got over at the house Lucky Charms. You know what I really like today? Les is with us. Hey, Les.
Hey.
You know,
I had a special bowl that I poured the cereal out in when my mom wasn't looking.
Yeah, the big bowl, the Tupperware salad bowl, the big green one.
Exactly the one I was talking about, Jimmy.
And but today I have this weird thing for Cinnamon Life. Oh, God, that is good cereal. Man. So, yeah, Cinnamon Life, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Oh, man.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, man.
I'm kind of digging right now. My kick is that new double chocolate Crave. Have you seen that?
I saw it the other day at the market, and it's right there. Double chocolate Crave. I did see it. I didn't buy it.
Wearing it out. Wearing it out.
It's good.
Oh, it's awesome.
You know, I still go for
almost better than Cocoa Puffs. Almost better than Cocoa Puffs.
Man, you're going. Okay, you're reaching. You're reaching. You know that, don't you?
I know. I can't step on Cocoa Puffs.
No, nobody can.
Almost as good as Cocoa Puffs. I'm not going to step on.
Nobody
Cocoa
can. But I still the Old Faithful, man. The Old Faithful, straight up Captain Crunch, not
Captain
Crunch.
Yeah.
Straight up. Yep, it's just straight Captain Crunch. Now, Crunch Berries, we all know it's great, right? Peanut Butter Crunch, absolutely. But the Old Faithful, straight up Captain Crunch. It don't get no better,
all
man.
day long.
Man.
All day long.
And
I got the family size box.
Yes, sir. And you eat it in two different phases. When you first eat it, when it's cutting your gums, right?
Yep.
Right? There's that phase. And then there's the middle phase where it's half crunchy, half soggy. That's real good. And then the last phase, when it's real soggy, and you can get a big old pile on your spoon because it's sticking together and it's like mush. And that's a good phase, too. And I like all three phases of Captain Crunch. Yes, there is an art to Captain Crunch.
That's what I like Cocoa Puffs so much about Cocoa Puffs is, and the best part about Cocoa Puffs is not only do you get to down the Cocoa Puffs, it's afterwards you got chocolate milk to finish.
Chocolate milk. Absolutely.
It's good milk. You got to down the milk. And that was one thing my grandmother was just like the sergeant on, too. You drink that milk. You're just not eating cereal. Whatever, I want to see an empty bowl. Nothing. The milk, all of it. Damn.
Hey, man, you know what? I've said this. I said this to Rita a couple of years ago, and I really mean this. I don't know why nobody is selling like Captain Crunch milk. You know what I mean? That you could buy that has the flavor, or Lucky Charms milk, or Cocoa Puffs milk. Dude, you would make a ton of money. Think about that.
Absolutely.
I mean, Corn Pops milk.
You done gave some dude some ideas somewhere, Jimmy.
Man, you know what? Just give me.
In 6 months, we're gonna see flavor in the milk aisle. We're gonna see flavored milk.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine? Lucky Charms milk. I would buy that. I would buy Captain Crunch milk.
Oh, yes.
I would.
If there's people that's drinking like soy milk and this almond bean milk that I see, I mean,
rice milk.
I'm straight up the red cap, full flavored milk. I'm not drinking no 2%.
Right.
None of that.
No.
None of that blue cap stuff.
No.
None of the light blue cap stuff.
Red cap.
It's the red cap.
Red cap.
Period. It's red cap.
That's it. I don't even know what that other stuff tastes like. I don't even care. Mike Spiteri just said, check this out. Mike just tweeted, Captain Crunch got me put on Ritalin. That's the tweet of the night, man. That'll get a retweet every time. Captain Crunch got me put on Ritalin.
Ritalin, Adderall.
Oh, man.
That Adderall, you gotta watch out for that Adderall. You take one of them Adderalls for people that take it for the ADHD. That stuff. If you take one of them and you're not ADHD,
what happens?
It's crazy. I mean, I took one and I'm not ADHD, and I mean I built stuff that I had no sense in building. Cabinets, a table. Just could not stop focusing on wanting to build stuff for like 12 hours before it finally wore off. And at the end, I done built a chair and two cabinets.
Could you imagine if you had never listened to Fade to Black before, right? And somebody's dialing in. Hey man, I heard they talk about alien abductions on this show. I got to check it out. And we're talking about peanut butter crunch flavored milk.
Yeah. I'm sorry, fans, but Thursday night is not the night to be listening.
You realize what we're all going to do, like, right after the show, is we're going to be raiding cabinets for, like, cereal.
Man. Well, I've always got something, I got this from my parents because my parents did this when I was really, really young. I would catch my dad eating cereal or cookies and milk at 3:00 in the morning. I would always see the hall light click on, right? And then my dad would be at the kitchen table. And so now I do that. And I'll wake up, man, 3:00 in the morning, and man, it just pisses Rita off to no end, and I know it. She's been really nice to me the last few years, but once in a while she'll wake up, you're crunching. I'll be in bed trying to chew. How do you chew Captain Crunch? How do you...
Second phase, Jimmy.
Yeah, second phase, man. I do. I have to mash the Captain Crunch down. How do you do Crunch Berries quiet when you're sleeping next to your wife? It's criminal, and so I have to let them sit for a few minutes. Oh man, I love you guys so much.
You gotta put the timer on. I've been tearing up Swiss roll cakes at 3:00 in the morning. I've been getting like two or three of the packs of the double Swiss roll cakes and just tearing them up.
Oh man, those Swiss roll cakes,
my
man.
My problem is I'll eat one like real fast in the pantry.
Yeah.
And then I'll pour my glass of milk and I've got a half, big old mouthful of Swiss roll cake.
Yeah.
And I down about a half a glass of milk and then top off my milk. And instead of going because I'm still stumbling because I'm not wide awake.
Right.
But I'm kind of sleepwalking,
I did that.
And then I'll go back to bed and then.
You got a full glass of milk.
How many times that I poured that milk on me from just passing out back in the bed.
I did that last night, man. I woke up, I went downstairs and got Oreos. And so downstairs, I drank a half a glass of milk, ate a couple of Oreos, filled up my glass, and then went upstairs. And Rita goes, "What'd you get?" I said, "Oreos." What I didn't tell her was I ate 3 downstairs with a half a glass of milk before I made it upstairs.
No,
all right,
banana Twinkies for me.
Hey, Steve, thank you so much. Les, we ran a minute over, man, so you got to get us out of here quick. Steve, you have a great, safe weekend, brother.
All right, special thanks to Jon Rappoport, to all the first-time callers and Fadernauts who phoned home tonight. Fade to Black executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Special thanks to LJ3, that's me, Renee, Jonas, Mark. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Brother Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fadey by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, syndicated on KGRA, and with that, Jimmy and I are
out of here. Thank you so much. Let's have a great, safe weekend.
You too, buddy.
This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your also humble host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Everybody be safe. Have a great weekend. Go Beckley Tappy.